Ever feel like,
Like you're just drowning in AI research. Every day it's something new, right? New breakthrough, new technique.
yeah,
And it's like keeping up is a job in itself.
totally.
Well, today,
We are diving deep into a paper.
on something called SFTMix,
Okay.
think of it as like a smarter way to train those.
Brainy, but sometimes spacey, large language models.
Yeah.
LLM.
LLMs.
Exactly.
It's about working smarter, not harder,
Yes.
which I think we can all appreciate these days.
So sure.
You know how we usually teach LLMs to follow instructions?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a giant flashcard game.
Right.
Show them an instruction, show them the desired response.
Yep.
Rinse and repeat.
Totally.
But the thing is, sometimes they're just memorizing the flashcards.
Without really getting the concepts.
Exactly.
Like they're acing a test.
They can't apply the knowledge
Right.
in the real world.
It's like, yeah, you can solve for X.
But what does X actually mean?
Exactly. And that's where SFTMix comes in.
Okay, so what makes SFTMix different? Give me the inside scoop.
So what's really cool about SFTMix
Is that it taps into this idea
of an LLM having confidence levels?
during training,
Hold on.
an AI with confidence.
Yeah.
That sounds awfully human.
I know, right?
How does that even work?
It's wild.
So think about it this way.
Imagine the LLM as that student again,
Okay.
tackling a stack of flashcards.
Some flashcards are going to be way easier than others.
Right.
Right. The ones with really clear-cut rules,
Yeah.
those are going to be a breeze, but the ones that require a little bit more,
Creativity or nuance, those might cause a little head scratching.
and SFTMix can pick up on these confidence levels.
By actually looking at how the LLM's understanding,
Evolves during training.
we call that training dynamics.
Okay, I kind of get it.
But can you give me like a real world example?
Yeah, totally.
Let's say the LLM is learning grammar rules,
Versus trying to come up with like,
catchy names for new products.
okay,
The study found that the LLM was way more confident
about those grammar rules.
because they're very deterministic.
They're very clear-cut.
Right.
But e-commerce names.
That's where things get a little fuzzy,
Okay.
and the LLM's confidence takes a hit.
So it's not just about the data itself.
But about how well the LLM grasps it.
Exactly.
Like some data points just click.
While others need more work.
Yeah, you got it.
And that's where SFTMix gets really clever.
It figures out which examples the LLM is really confident about.
And which ones it finds a little trickier.
Okay, so it's sorting the flashcards.
But how does that actually help the LLM learn better?
I mean, isn't more information?
Always a good thing.
That's the thing. It's not just about more data.
It's about using the right data at the right time.
Okay.
So SFTMix takes those two categories.
The high confidence examples and the low confidence
It
examples
kind of mixes them up.
in a very specific way during training,
So it's not just drilling the easy stuff.
or overwhelming them with the hard stuff.
Right.
It's about finding that sweet spot,
Exactly.
that perfect blend. And the really amazing thing is the simple idea of mixing things up.
Actually led to some really impressive results.
So are you telling me that with SFTMix, like we can finally say goodbye to these massive data sets?
And these endless training times,
Well,
because that would be a game changer.
not so fast.
While the results are super promising,
Okay.
it's important to remember this research is still...
In its early stages,
Okay.
the researchers were really focused on specific tasks,
Like instruction following.
and they worked with relatively smaller LLMs.
Okay, so maybe not a total revolution just yet.
But even those smaller scale experiments.
Showed some pretty remarkable improvements, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Didn't they try it out on some healthcare stuff too?
They did.
Now that's what I call real-world impact.
Absolutely.
So they tested SFTMix on a data set called MedAlpaca.
MedAlpaca,
Yeah.
which is this treasure trove of medical conversations.
On questions.
Yep.
And the goal was to see
How well an LLM could be trained to actually understand.
and respond to these complex medical queries.
So like an AI doctor in training.
That's both really exciting and slightly terrifying.
Yeah, I know.
And it's definitely a glimpse into the future.
Of AI in healthcare.
For sure.
You know, imagine LLMs that could help patients.
Understand their conditions.
Or assist doctors with diagnoses.
Or even accelerate drug discovery.
Right.
And we're not talking about replacing healthcare professionals.
But giving them these powerful new tools.
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
But how did SFTMix actually perform?
I mean, could it hold its own against models?
That were specifically designed.
For medical tasks?
So here's the kicker.
It didn't just hold its own.
It blew the competition out of the water.
Wow.
They compared it to several leading biomedical language models.
And the LLMs trained with SFTMix consistently came out on top.
Okay.
They even tested it on MedQA.
Which is a benchmark based on the U.S. medical licensing exam.
Oh, wow.
And the results were really impressive.
So beating out models that are specifically trained for that domain.
That's a serious validation of SFTMix.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder.
Just how far this technique could go.
What about other specialized fields beyond healthcare?
Could it be applied to, like, anything?
That's the million-dollar question.
And it speaks to, I think, a broader trend in AI research.
Which is, we're moving beyond this idea that
bigger is always better.
Right.
SFTMix shows that we can achieve
really remarkable results
by focusing on how AI models learn,
not just how much data we throw at them.
It's like we're finally starting to crack the code
of AI learning.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
The paper did mention some limitations.
Right.
Didn't they say something about pre-training?
Yeah, you're right. They did.
So remember how we talked about pre-training?
As that initial phase?
Where LLMs learn from just massive amounts of raw text data?
No flashcards involved?
Right.
Well, the researchers haven't actually tested SFTMix.
In a pre-training context yet.
Okay.
So it's worked wonders for instruction tuning.
Even shown promise in specialized fields like healthcare.
But when it comes to pre-training,
it's still a big question mark.
It's a big question mark.
But it's a question mark.
That has everyone in the AI world
buzzing with anticipation.
I bet.
Imagine if we could apply these principles of SFTMix
to pre-training.
Yeah.
Could we make that initial learning process
that's been more efficient, even more powerful?
It's like we're talking about like a whole new level
of AI evolution here.
Totally, yeah.
But okay, let's say we can apply SFTMix to pre-training.
What kind of impact could that actually have?
I mean, why should we even care?
About making pre-training more efficient?
That's a great question.
Well, remember how we talked about
pre-training these massive LLMs?
It's incredibly resource intensive.
Yeah.
We're talking about huge amounts of data.
Huge amounts of computing power.
Right.
Which translates to
a lot of time, a lot of money.
Not to mention the environmental impact. All those servers running day and night.
It adds up.
Yeah, it definitely adds up.
So if we can find ways to make pre-training more efficient.
It's not just about like saving a few bucks.
Or speeding things up.
Right. It's about making AI research more sustainable.
Right.
More accessible.
And ultimately more beneficial for everyone.
Okay.
So SFTMix could be a win-win.
For both the AI world and the planet.
I like the way you think.
Now that's something I can get behind.
But this whole thing about AI confidence
still has me a little bit puzzled.
What's the takeaway here?
Is it just like a cool side effect of SFTMix?
Or is there something deeper going on?
It's definitely more
than just a cool side effect.
Okay.
Remember that ablation study we talked about where they tried out all those different variations?
Of SFTMix?
Mm-hmm.
One of the most surprising findings was that
simply mixing high-quality data with lower-quality data
didn't work as well as using the model's confidence levels.
Huh.
Yeah.
So it's like those confidence levels.
Were like the secret sauce.
Yeah.
The key ingredient.
Yeah.
That made everything click. It's not just about the data itself.
It's about how the AI
perceives and internalizes that data.
Huh?
The fact that SFTMix can tap into these
internal representations, these confidence levels.
It's a pretty big deal.
So it's like SFTMix is giving us a glimpse
into the AI's thought process.
In a way.
Yeah.
That's both fascinating.
And a little spooky.
It's a little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
But from a research perspective, it's incredibly exciting.
Because if we can start to understand
how and why
an AI is confident or uncertain about something,
right?
We can start to address those uncertainties more effectively.
And potentially design more reliable
and trustworthy AI systems in the process.
Wow.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
And I'm already excited to see
what new discoveries await us
in the world of AI.
It's a really exciting time.
It really is.
Until next time, keep those brains curious.
And those learning gears turning.